Hi, this is Ramaji, and I want to talk about um, the X event, um, global mysterious X event that is going to happen, that could happen this spring, maybe into the summer. So the astrologer Leo King puts the date at March 17th of this year, 2025. And the author of a book called Yuga Shift, which says that here's the book. It's kind of hard to do it this way. Yeah, Yuga Shift right there. He says it's March 21st. That's when Kali Yuga ends. So that's an interesting synchronicity between those two dates. As far as I know, Leo King came up with his dates separately in his own way. For a long time, I thought this event was going to be the grand solar flash and enlightenment for everybody handed out like cookies, but I don't know now. I really don't know. um, there's different flavors to this. I attempted to understand it, meditate on it, and I keep coming up against something that basically says this is not like anything that's ever happened on this planet or to the human race. There are just no words that the mind can't even start to comprehend it. So that's what I've been left with, and perhaps I'm being prevented and for some good reason from understanding or put it into words. Maybe it's just meant to be a total surprise, and me actually describing it ahead of time would defeat the purpose to some extent. But anyway, that's the date. It could happen in April, possibly May, June, July. It might be associated, but I think it'll probably be March, April. It could be associated with a solar event, solar flares, or a solar flash of some kind. It's something that'll be seen in the sky. It's something that will affect the whole planet, everybody at the same time. Um, it will have a deep spiritual implication, but it may also have to do with ETs and with the origin of the human race, which could be very shocking to cultural and religious beliefs for people. It's apparently going to be so big that it will change everything. And we will spend the rest of 2025 into the spring of 2026 adjusting to it and integrating with it. Um, in addition to Yuga Shift and Leo King, one other thing I've noticed is a teaching or message in Catholicism. And this book is called The Warning. And I kind of like it because I like how it, I don't know, it just makes sense to me. So basically, what the warning is everybody on the planet, everything stops and you can't ignore it. And uh, God shows each individual person the state of their soul. So if they're really dark, they will see that maybe for the first time. So everybody gets a report card, kind of like one of these near-death experience reviews, life reviews. So it's very powerful, very intense, very serious, possibly very joyful, but very, very powerful. So that resonates with me too. Um, and then finally, I have my own way where I track the level of consciousness on the planet, on the surface of the planet, the LOC. When I was doing that in terms of 2020, I wrote a book, 1000. It's on Amazon. And it came out in 2014, and I predicted in that book that 2020, the stuff would hit the fan. Why did I predict that? Because I estimated that the planet on the frequency of consciousness on the surface of the planet would go to the 600s, and it did. And then 2020 happened, and you know what happened then. Well, now I've tracked it ever since, and now it's been at 999.999 for quite a while. And my intuition before I explored these other sources was it's going to shift to 1,000, which is the top level that most human beings are able to access, even in terms of enlightenment, um, at approximately the same time, March, April of this year, 2025. So I had come up with that on my own. That's just, I started to get that message about 6 months ago. So there you have it. I would say be prepared for anything, which includes basic survival stuff like having extra food, water, and flashlight, batteries, etc. But it's really more about the consciousness implications. Something is going to change in terms of human consciousness. There's also talk of by 2027, a new human being or a different race. And I don't pretend to understand that, but even Edgar Cayce did talk about that. And then in terms of, there is this cycle 20, 25, 26, 27, where now by 2027, we have entered into the new age. Leo King talked about other astrologers have talked about it. And then there's a real gem of a book called The Real Toltec Prophecies by Sergio Magana. It's great. And guess what? It's an ancient tradition, hundreds of years old. And they predicted 2025, 2026, 2027. I'm not going to read from the book, but I highly recommend you get it because it's unique and a very meaningful prophetic overview of what's been happening certainly since 2020. Okay. So the good news is we'll be in the new age by 2027, and in 2025 in the spring, quite possibly, I can't guarantee it, we will have this global consciousness event, but it's not just a consciousness event. It's indescribable. It's beyond comprehension. It's life-changing in some way, apparently for every single human being. But I cannot tell you more, and I wish I could. But maybe even if I knew, I wouldn't be permitted to tell you. So it's going to be the big surprise, the big Christmas present for the human race. And that's all I've got right now. If I get something new, I'll let you know. So today is January 31st, 2025. Take care. Lots of love. Bye for now.